All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew. Today I want to talk to you guys about the 9070 XT and 9070 that AMD has finally revealed. They've given us prices, they've given us a launch date, and there's a lot to unpack here. I'm actually pretty excited, so let's get right into this. I'm going to go ahead and start with the prices. The prices are going to be $549 for the 9070, which puts that card neck and neck price wise with the 5070. And then we also have the bigger one, the 9070 XT, with board partners that are able to push this up to 340 watts from the original 304 watts of the base standard version of the 9070 XT, which is starting at $599. Is that right? Yeah, $599. So under $600 for the 9070 XT, which puts that $150 less than the 5070 Ti. Now, I do have a 5070 Ti. I did purchase that. I paid $939 for my version of the Asus Prime 5070 Ti OC model. And I've actually been really enjoying this card. I think that the multi-frame rate generation is actually pretty convincing for the average gamer that would be playing on this as a, in a casual setting, if you're playing single player games, you're not really, you're a weekend warrior, stuff like that, you don't have like a whole lot of time to sit and play games. I definitely think that something like a 5070 Ti with frame rate generation, obviously DLSS 4 is looking mighty impressive these days, but we also have 9070 XT that is coming out $150 lower than this. It will now feature, for the first time ever on an AMD Radeon stack, RDNA 4 or FSR4, which is now utilizing machine learning. And if you guys remember back when the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced, they had Sony and AMD had talked about Project Amethyst. They were working together to bring machine learning to the AMD stack, to PlayStation obviously, and as well as potentially over to like Xbox and stuff. So there's a lot of high quality developers and architects that are working on this stuff to be able to really bring out some cool stuff. So when I'm watching this, when I was watching the launch today, and I see the new Toy Store thing that they launched, the first thing that hit me, and every time this happens every time I look at a Radeon product, is like, boom, so much density in the visuals. I was just like, gosh dang. Now I was watching it on my ultra wide monitor, so I mean obviously I'm 3440 by 1440p, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not that dense, because I'm obviously downsampling from 4K to the 3440 by 1440p, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rewatch that on 4K. And I'm gonna record the footage this time. So I rewatched it, and like you'll be seeing that playing through in the back. So I recorded this footage on the 4K display, and boom, like, oh man, just the way the density of these visuals look, and the fact that AMD's Radeon is now going to be able to bring you path tracing, denoising, all of this stuff. I'm really actually surprised that it's looking that good. Now, when they were showing off, in Warhammer 40K or Space Marine 2, they're showing you guys like the native rendering FSR 3.1, and then they're showing you the new FSR 4, and they're showing like the way it's like kind of retaining that with like a performance level. Oh man. And then when they showed off some more Crimson Desert, dude, I'm so excited for that game. I cannot wait to freaking play that. It looks incredible, man. I have had this distinct experience, okay, with AMD, with Radeon in general. I've been using them for about 20 months now. And I've been going back and forth, with obviously buying new. I've bought the 30 series from NVIDIA. I've bought 40 series cards, and now I have my very own first, 50 series card, where I've decided that like I'm gonna kind of try to stay in the mid-range. I'm not gonna try to go like super high anymore, just because I feel like that is not necessarily a waste of money, but it is kind of a, once you get a taste for that, I gotta have the top end product, you consistently feel like you need to stay there no matter what. And so this opportunity for Radeon to be able to bring out just a 9070 XT and kind of, bring me back down to earth, I feel like that puts me a little bit closer to the community and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this. I'm absolutely blown away with the overall experience that I feel like Radeon's going to bring. And then when they start talking about the new updated Adrenaline software, including new AI features, man, this is cool. This is cool. RDNA or FSR4 is going to be able to work automatically out of the gate with 30 different titles at launch. A lot of these are the PlayStation games, Call of Duty, obviously. Not a whole lot of really, you know, I mean, that is a good start. That is a good start. I would like to see that, you know, expand pretty rapidly. We did see FSR3 start to get utilized more and more often with, you know, kind of spotty direction in how they were going to upgrade it, what they were going to do, if they were just bringing the frame generation or, you know, what they were doing. And, you know, obviously FSR 3.1, the newest version of that now has the API level so that they can just automatically convert that over to FSR4. So I would really like to see developers start taking more of a balanced approach to bringing these technologies that are, you know, obviously if we're using Unreal Engine 5, my friends, my dev friends, if we're using Unreal Engine 5 or we're using other freaking engines that are really, really heavy, clearly we're going to need these freaking upscalers. Clearly we're going to need frame generation. We're going to need these things to work and deliver an experience that is worthy of our money to buy these games day one. That is the biggest thing that I think is essential for when it comes to gaming is I need my hardware to be able to perform. I need my hardware to deliver a consistent experience. That's big with me. That is big with me. I need that consistency. I like that consistency. Now I'm good. If I can get 70 to 90 frames on my single player games, absolutely incredible. I'm perfectly okay with that. 9070 XT looks to be able to deliver that. 5070 Ti absolutely delivers that so far. And we're talking 4K. We're talking, you know, being able to run this on a 3440 by 1440p monitor. The experience is incredible. So if 9070 XT can meet or exceed 5070 Ti for me, I think that the $600 price is absolutely more than fair. And I'm glad that AMD didn't bend the knee and price it at $550. That to me just sounded ludicrous. I'm like, you're trying to tell me that a PlayStation 5 Pro is worth $700, but you're telling me like an entry level 4K GPU. No, I still stand by 16 gigs cards being 256 bus being 1440p cards. They obviously can push the boundaries and go to 4K, but I still look at these cards as 1440p. That's just being realistic, and that's why I got a 3440 by 1440p monitor, because I just kind of see that as being realistic. And when I try to do 4K and it works, but as long as in my mind I know, like, look, this is the threshold. Anything above this is a bonus. 1440p, high refresh rate gaming, not having to use upscalers. To me, that is the threshold. That's what it needs to meet for me. And anything above that, being able to upscale in 4K, being able to utilize, you know, FSR4 or frame generation or any of these other software features that are actually, you know, in my opinion, since I've kind of softened my stance on this stuff, I've went back and I've kind of softened my stance. PlayStation 5 Pro has definitely helped with that, because had I not moved over to PC, I would still be on a console level. I would still be at PlayStation 5 Pro. I'd still be at Xbox Series X. So I've kind of softened my stance, because I just don't think that hardcore enthusiast is watching. I don't think they're watching much of these channels, to be completely honest with you. I think that if they're like those astute hardcore, like, man, we don't care people, or the native only people, I don't think they're watching these types of channels. So what good am I doing for the community if I don't absolutely embrace this stuff and look at it from a point of view that it's not just my opinion. It's, can I play this stuff? Can I enjoy it? Utilizing upscalers, utilizing frame generation, utilizing ray tracing, the feature set that's coming out that is powering these games is making things look better and run better. So yeah, at the end of the day, after playing around with multi-frame generation on 5070 Ti, I'm a lot more I'm a lot more open-minded about frame generation, and that actually kind of started with the 7900 XTX being able to stack FSR4 frame generation with with AMD's fluid motion frames too. That right there was like, wow, this is actually playable. I mean, I'm sitting there in freaking Star Wars Outlaws at 180 frames a second with all the ray tracing and everything turned on at 3440 by 1440p. And, you know, having a high refresh monitor definitely helps frame generation a lot, because once you get over the 120 and into the higher, you know, almost 200s or whatever, that's when it really starts to like, wow, this is actually freaking really good. And then you're panning the camera and stuff and you're looking around. That makes the experience better. Now, on the 120 up to 120, I'm kind of still indifferent about that, to be completely honest with you. Like, I don't think frame generation should ever be used on a 120 FPS monitor, period. You need 240, 360, you need a much faster refresh rate for you to actually be able to benefit from the frame generation. Now, in a game like Cyberpunk, playing around with this on the new 5070 Ti at 180 frames a second using X3. X4 was a little bit kind of, didn't really like that much just because of the way it kind of felt, but 3X, that actually felt pretty good. I was like, wow, this is absolutely convincing, to the point where it's like, you get these technologies and you start playing with them, oh my gosh, man. So let's do a quick recap. 9070, $549. 9070 XT, starting at $600 with a 304 watt power supply for your base model, with AIBs being able to push that to 340 watts to deliver more power, to be able to give you even a little bit more of an uptick on that silicon. So expect your AIB boards to go as high as $800. Just expect that. And maybe they try to pull a 5070 Ti thing and try to get $1,000 out of them too. It is what it is. I'd pretty much expect to see them top out about $850 at max, to be completely honest with you. I mean, we're talking about Radeon cards. While I believe in the value of Radeon, not everybody does. And that's where we need to get to. We need to get to other people being able to see the value in what a Radeon GPU can offer them versus what they would pay for an NVIDIA GPU. So new redesigned AMD's Adrenalin software. This is supposed to be the first time that it's launched in better state, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I haven't really had a major issue with the Adrenalin software. In fact, I absolutely love it and think it is incredible and works all the time. So I'm like, yeah, this is a bonus. On NVIDIA, I'm trying to like hit the record and it'll just like keep recording saved, and I'm like, dude, this is so annoying. Why doesn't it just work? So yeah, definitely the Adrenalin app is significantly further ahead than the NVIDIA app. And then launch date, March 6th. These will be coming out next week. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm extremely excited to see how this 9070 XT performs next to the 5070 Ti. We're not going to do any kind of skewed stuff or anything like that. Most of the testing that we're going to do going forward is going to be 3440 by 1440p, and some occasional 4K, just depending on the game. Maybe some older stuff. We'll do some 4K benchmarking that doesn't require any type of upscaling. We'll play like some Assassin's Creed Odyssey, some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Obviously, those games are always going to remain in my suite of games. Obviously, we'll be doing some, we're gonna take a look at this, guys. We're talking 4080 power for $600. That is incredible. That is incredible. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that AMD was able to pull that off. Obviously, it made it so they couldn't produce a an in-house card. They have to leave it all to AIBs, but this is going to be interesting, my friends. Definitely interesting. So if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.